Here we are, once again, talking in front of a microphone, in my bedroom, staring at a computer screen, making sure that I don't pop everything, though thank goodness I bought a pop filter. So, we're back again for a weird week of random thoughts, just kind of mixed up and mashed together, so why don't we jump into it? Hello, and welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm your host, Matt, as always, and yes, I'm serious. I have a random string of things that I'm going to put together, so, I don't know if I talked about this, but just first thought, they changed how Duolingo works, and I'm not happy with it currently, because they restructured how everything fits together. That's supposedly a better way of teaching you, but the problem is, because how I did my progress with each of the lessons, it's now assumed that I don't have certain skills because the progression system is different to how the progression system worked previously. So essentially the way it worked previously is you had a single topic and you would do certain lessons until you hit a specific level, and then you would restart in the second level, which would be harder and would challenge you in different ways until you built it up to full mastery of that set. And the new program scheme seems to wrap that whole progression into one chunk, rather than allowing you to do as much as you want in one section and then move on to a different one, which is annoying because for me, all I did was get everything to level 1 and then move on to the next thing, and then I would go back to the beginning stuff and master those, like completely max those out, because by the time I'd gone to like section 3, the early stuff was easy to me, so I could just master that. But now it's penalizing me basically because I haven't mastered everything prior, which is annoying, because basically it's put me back quite a way in terms of the content that I was learning, which is really annoying because it means I'm doing stuff that I would have gone back to revisit myself, but now they're forcing me to revisit. And they've now combined the stories into the main progression system. So there's literally like 30-40 stories that I've already done because I unlocked them that are now locked again in further progression states. So it's making me study the same stories that I've already done, and I'm like, no, I did this like months ago. So I'm not happy with it. And also there's currently a disconnect where the one on the browser is updated, but the one on my phone isn't updated, and it's a mess. I'm not happy, but I'll just have to kind of deal with it, to be perfectly honest, which is like, I digress. I went on too long about that. The next sort of disappointing thing is I bought these fruit yogurt slice thingies from good old Lidl, and I've just been sorely disappointed because every time I buy these like cereally snacky bars, as best as I can describe them, I always look at the images and think, oh right, so it's like a sweet crackery bar, and it's got a filling, specifically like a filling of some sort of fruit sugar thing. No, they never have a filling. They always have instead dried pieces of fruit throughout them, which is just not as good because you're basically eating mostly this weird crackery biscuit, and it's just annoying. These ones are better because at least they have a yogurt coating, but they're still not quite what I hoped for, so sad. Anyway, next thing, I'm off next week, which is grand. I'm very happy to be having a week off because I've hit that point where I'm like, I need time. So very thankful to my previous self for actually booking that in advance and getting that sorted. As part of that, I've decided that I'm going to go to the local Smash Brothers tourney in my town and see how I'm doing, which also means that this week and next week I am sort of ramping my study of Smash Bros up a bit. I called it Smash Bros School in my notes. So I've been playing with friends, not as much as I'd hoped to, but obviously I've got to fit it in around everything else I'm doing. I've also watched a fair few videos about the character that I play, so I'm trying to make some notes and learn some new stuff, which actually is working, because between Monday when I played my friend and yesterday when I played my friend, I was doing different things and playing better to the point where I was winning some of the stuff. Not completely winning, but doing much better. So, and I also had a blast. I came away thinking, yeah, that was really fun, so that's good. I do need to kind of get over not my ego, but my like apprehension of social interaction. That's big words. I need to get over my fear of talking to people, because I could do with asking different people to play and also asking different people to kind of explain stuff to me and maybe point out things that I'm doing wrong. That would be super useful if I actually sat down and did that, so need to look into that. But I've got till next Thursday, so there is time. And yeah, I just need to also make sure I have the mindset of enjoy it. That's probably the biggest thing, is just make sure you enjoy it and have fun and learn, because there's going to be a lot of people there that are probably a lot better and can maybe advise on a few things. So yeah, I thought I had more things to say about that. Anyway, I don't know what's been going off currently, but the world is just annoying right now in terms of small things. Traffic has been ridiculous this week. Like, this week was the first time I was almost late to work because I just got stuck in a huge queue of traffic for seemingly no reason. There was no accident, there was no police or ambulances driving around making everyone stop and move out of the way. There was nothing. There was just tons of traffic, so that was annoying. The gym has also been super frustrating. Like, I knew that there would be the problem because I have to go in an evening because of work, that you're going at a peak time, right? And you're going when there's going to be a lot of people and it's going to make everything kind of slower and you're going to have to wait or ask people for stuff. But this week has been ridiculous. I went Tuesday and I gave up at one point. I missed out 2 exercises, I think, because I just couldn't get the machines. I was very fortunate that I managed to get a squat rack so that I could do deadlifts, but that took a while. I had to do a couple other exercises out of order before one of those became free. And even then, when I'd done those exercises, I was kind of stood around looking at machines like, which one can I have? There was a cable rowing machine that had, I'm not joking, 3 people rotating on it, and by the time that they'd finished, another set of 3 people were then rotating on it. So that's the exercise I gave up with because I thought, well, I'm not waiting for more people. A couple other machines that I wanted, I had to just kind of stand around and stare at the people, but not like awkwardly or rudely, just staring at them because I'm trying to watch to see when they finished so I could go in and nab the machine myself. It was just chaos. Normally when it's busy, you end up managing to find something on your routine that you can just grab, and then I've been very lucky, I suppose, in the past, because once I've done that exercise, the next one becomes free, so then I jump onto that and then rinse repeat. Basically, by the time you finished one exercise, the next one suddenly becomes free. Or what I've done as well in the past is I've mixed different days and done exercises from different days just because they're available, and then I swapped which exercises I do. That's just being flexible, I suppose, in that essence. But no, this week it's just not played out like that. It's been very frustrating because I'm sat there like, whilst I don't mind waiting, because my time is so limited in an evening anyway, the longer I spend at the gym just waiting for a machine, 1, it's not an effective workout, but 2, I'm just wasting my like limited amount of time that I've got. So don't know. Just have to kind of go with it. There's nothing you can really do. If I had any tips to people who are not used to that situation and don't have the patience, your best option is to just be brazen and ask people if you can. I think the phrase is work in, but I don't think anybody ever says that. They normally just say, hey, can I jump in and when you're resting, basically, because that's the fastest way you're going to get to do all of your exercises without having to stand around awkwardly. And plus, there are a lot of people that might accidentally not realize that they're resting too long between sets, or that they're just sitting around spending too long, I don't know, checking Twitter. I do that whilst I'm resting, and I have a timer on my phone that kicks me to do my sets quickly, because obviously if you rest too long, it's not effective. So sometimes you can find that a person might end up doing their sets faster if you ask to work with them as well, because obviously they feel that pressure of, well, you've just finished, so I should jump on. Do be careful though. That is the thing. Normal people rest periods can be like a minute to 2 minutes, but the amount of time you spend doing an exercise is more like 20 seconds. So please try not to feel pressured that once you've done your 20 seconds, they then sit down and do their 20 seconds, but you're like, well, I need to wait 30, 40 more seconds before I go. Don't sit down and do it. Wait. It's fine. You'll still be ending up doing it faster with them than if you just sit around waiting. So I think I'd just like to wrap today's episode off. Because I talked quite fast, and I imagine I won't have to cut too much out of this, hopefully. But this is episode 94, if my counting has been consistent and correct. And honestly, that is quite amazing to myself that this is something I've managed to keep going, because unlike things such as the gym or my hobbies and stuff that I can regularly do, this is something that requires a bit more planning and a bit more strategy, because obviously I'm talking out loud, and if there are people listening to me talk out loud, I sound crazy. And also, if there are other people around, that's background noise, which is annoying to try and edit out. So this has not been a consistent thing. The days I record on have been kind of all over the place, and then finding time to edit has been all over the place. But I've managed to keep it consistent, so I'm very proud of myself for that. And I hope you have actually got something out of this, or just enjoy listening to me ramble on and on and on. But I will say one thing is that I wish I could put this on Spotify, but I never figured out how the legal stuff worked with that. I was kind of unsure whether I'd lose rights to this, which would suck. So I'm keeping it here on YouTube, but I mean, I may have already lost the rights by putting it on YouTube. You never know. What I will say though is, because it is on YouTube, it's a video format, right? Which is annoying for editing purposes, but that's by the by. I think for my 100th episode, I want to do a actual video, actually have some sort of image going. And I think how do I say this? I think that would be interesting, just as kind of like a little celebration of, wow, I hit 100. But I'm not entirely sure what to do. My current theory is, I mentioned this game called Slow Roads. It's not exactly hard to run, and it would be easy to record, so I think I might do that. And there's no like music or anything in it that would get me in trouble, and I can just kind of have a video of me driving in that game, whilst I also kind of do my podcast episode, essentially. The only thing is, I don't have any editing software currently. The extent of making the video for this podcast is have stock image of my logo and then just put the audio track over it. So you can do that in like the Photos app that comes with Windows. Whereas if I wanted to do an actual video with like the driving and everything, I'd need to properly edit that and cut chunks out. So I will look into that, because I do know there are free options that are supposedly quite good, but that might actually require me to figure out how to edit. So scary. But anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed listening, if indeed you still are. I'm breathing a lot. I'm very out of breath. Like, comment, subscribe, bell, sure. It's weird saying this stuff, you know. Anyway, I'll see you all next week. Bye.